Please, 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 New York Knicks, do not trade Mitchell Robinson. I'm about to tell you why I feel so strongly coming up next, right here on Riding with the Knicks. Welcome back to Riding with the Knicks. Happy Friday to you. This is a channel where we talk about the team that we love, the New York Knicks, the season as it unfolds, and the deeper themes that you and I can pull out of the game, apply to our lives to become the best versions of ourselves. Woo! If you're here for the first time, if you've never watched one of my videos, or maybe you've seen a few of them, but you've yet to hit subscribe, I invite you to please take a moment to hit that subscribe button. It's a small commitment for you, but it means a great deal to me as the creator. And to the 143 or so of you over the first 2 months of this channel launching who have chosen to hit subscribe, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. It means a ton to me, so thank you, honestly. So let's talk about Mitchell Robinson. Why do I feel so strongly about Mitchell Robinson and the Knicks not trading him? We're going to talk about 3 reasons in this video why I believe the Knicks should not consider trading Mitchell Robinson at this time. And then at the end of the video, as always, of course, we're going to talk about what does it mean for you and me? Because we can sit here and talk about and listen to and regurgitate things all day long about what we think the Knicks should do, but we don't really have any say in that. And so how do we, you and I, learn something valuable from this perspective regarding Mitchell Robinson, regarding how the season's unfolding, and apply it to our lives to become the best versions of ourselves? And so at the end of the video, like we always do, we're going to get into something that involves you and involves me. So let's start with these 3 reasons the Knicks should not consider trading Mitchell Robinson. Number 1, Mitchell Robinson is a beast, and he's only getting better. Let's talk a little bit about Mitch's path to the NBA. He played for like 4 different high schools. He got a crazy story about how one of his coaches discovered him. He was out of town visiting, I think, his mom or someone like that. You got to look the story up. I'm not doing a deep dive on that right now. Maybe I will in the future. But a guy said, hey, there's this super tall kid walking around town. The coach went and found him around town and invited him to come join their school. So they relocated to that school. And Mitch ended up becoming a 5-star recruit out of high school. And but he ended up playing for a bunch of different high schools, and he ended up still being a 5-star recruit. He enrolled in Western Kentucky University, but he had offers to go to LSU, to go to Kentucky, big basketball programs. But he decided to go to Western Kentucky, and then before the season even started, before the school year even started, he moved out of his dorm room and left. Then he was too far into the process with the college to get into the G League, so he didn't get to play with the G League. But he said, you know what, I'm not going to go and try to do a year at some other college. I'm just going to go to the draft. And then the draft workouts and combine and stuff, the day before it, he decided he wasn't going to work out. And so there's a lot of weird stuff that happened with this guy going into the NBA, which led this 5-star recruit to drop to the 2nd round, and the Knicks took a risk on him at the 36th pick. And, you know, people were saying the Knicks got a low risk, high reward with this guy, and we're seeing high reward right now. Mitchell Robinson is a beast, and I don't care who you're going to trade him for. I don't want a microwave success for the Knicks. I don't want to say yeah, let's flip him in a deal for Miles Turner, or let's flip him in a deal for some other big. Who's looking at the Knicks roster right now and saying, oh yeah, I see the problem. It's the center position and it's Mitchell Robinson. No, nobody should be thinking that right now. Get rid of Noel if we want to get rid of somebody. Keep Taj. I mean, Taj is teaching. He's instructing. He's being a vet, and he's knowing his role. But Mitch is a beast, and I think that to get rid of him right now would be ridiculous. You know, sometimes people say, you know, you overvalue the things that you own. And I'm not saying at all that the Knicks own Mitchell Robinson. I'm trying to use an analogy that has something to do with ownership of people and stuff. So don't even miss me with that, because I'm not going down that road. But when we say you buy a stock and you buy it real low and then it shoots up, people are like, yeah, you're overvaluing it because you owned it. You should get out when the stock is high. And if you're going to treat like Mitchell Robinson like not a person and like a commodity like that, I guess you could say that. Like, yeah, you got him at 36 and now you can trade him high. But I think that we hold way too tightly as NBA fans and as NBA people who analyze the league. We hold too tightly to people's draft position. And so, yeah, Mitch went 36. So what? Mitch has proven right now that he's way better than a 36 pick. And so does that mean we trade him? No. Why would you trade him just because there's value there? There's value for us to keep him. So Mitch is a beast, and he's only getting better. That move that he had the other night where he, looked like he was just about to pass it off, like outside the three-point line, but then he turns, does a little mini Euro step and mashes it home. Like, he can develop into that. If you look up old videos of him in high school and stuff, the dude can hit it. The dude can hit an outside shot. And so I think that this guy's only going to get better. He's a beast and only getting better. It leads me to my second point here, why we shouldn't trade him. Because Mitchell Robinson fits the timeline of this team. Maybe people want to think that we're better than we are. We're a 500 team, and we should be proud of that because a couple years ago, we were a 200 team, all right? And last year, we overachieved. And this year, it looks like we're holding pace with what we did last year. The East is way better, so our position in the standings is way lower. But this is growth. And so why would we come off of young talent that's on the trajectory to rise? He's growing with RJ Barrett. He's growing with IQ. He's growing with Deuce, with Grimes. He's growing with Obi. Like, that's the timeline of the Knicks. The Knicks they're not Randall and Fournier and whoever else. Burks and Noel and whoever. That's not actually the Knicks and Walker. That's not the Knicks. The real Knicks are our youth. But if the Knicks organization gets blinded by the fact that they overachieved last year and think for a moment that the Knicks, the real Knicks team, are those guys that are in their, the primes of their career and they're only really like B or C talent players, the guys I just mentioned, then we're going to lose the momentum and the amazing, because the team has done an amazing job drafting. We're going to lose that, getting rid of it, trying to build a contender around Julius Randle and around these other guys. And we're going to lose sight of what the actual team is, and it's this talented youth we have. And then what are we going to do? Try to move these young guys just to put them around Julius Randle and Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker and try to hold it together and maybe make a run at the Eastern Conference in the next year or two, because that's the window for that group, and I don't think they have it to do it. And then the Knicks mortgage their future again, and we're back where we were, stuck in monotony. And so the timeline of this league, of this team, the Knicks, fits Mitchell Robinson's timeline. And to get rid of him would be saying, you know what, we're actually not committed to the growing this beautiful young core of talent we have. We're trying to just microwave something and do something right now because we think the fan base needs that. Listen to the fan base cheer for Obi. Listen to them chanting Obi when he's on the bench. We don't want the Evan Fournier, Julius Randle team. Like, we're happy with that, and I'm happy that the Knicks as an organization can put out like a respectable product while they're continuing to build. That's amazing. But let's not lose sight and think that the product on the floor right now is what we need to continue to sow into. No. They're there to provide a good product, to show stability in the organization, to help these young guys develop. But I feel like the tension we're in right now is that we're thinking that all of a sudden the timeline is expired for these older guys, and they're not only helping these young guys grow anymore, they're now impeding their development. And that's an honest frustration. But the second reason the Knicks should not trade Mitchell Robinson is because he fits the timeline of the real Knicks, which are this young, talented core. And finally, the third reason they should not trade Mitchell Robinson is because Mitchell Robinson is straight comedy. And you might think I'm joking about that, but that is so valuable. Like, he brings that joy. He brings that like aloofness. He brings that like that little like kind of like weird strut he does down the court, like flopping his hands around. He brings humor and joy and like camaraderie and glue for the team. Like, he brings a type of innocence and a type of that's an amazing quality to have in a player who's also going to be a beast on the boards and a beast down low. But to have that kind of like that joy is losing that. Like, you can't underestimate or you like losing something like that, because there's so much intangible value in a guy that's going to bring that, a guy who's going to be the clown, who's going to be the jokester, and not have it take away from the product on the floor, but like have it actually add to the camaraderie, add to the morale of the team. He's an amazing morale guy, and I don't think the Knicks want to even flirt with the idea of losing him. What, for like I said, to build around the group of players that we actually shouldn't be investing in right now. So those are the three reasons. But like, what should you and I learn from this? Like, what's the message for us? The Knicks shouldn't trade Mitchell Robinson, but what would lead them to trade Mitchell Robinson? It would be missing the real goal. It would be getting distracted from the real goal. And so what I would encourage you to consider today and this weekend, and what I'm considering today and this weekend for me, is do I actually know who I am? Do you actually know who you are? Who are you? Who are the Knicks? The Knicks are not Julius Randle, Evan Fournier, Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel. Like, that's not the Knicks. The Knicks are RJ Barrett. The Knicks are IQ and Deuce and Mitch and Obi. And will all those guys stay around? Probably not. But a core of them should. Because that's the authentic Knicks. That's the Knicks that's going to get to the highest of highs. Because not only do we need to know ourselves, we need to know where we're going. What is your goal? Where do you want to get to? And there's a path that's a microwave path. There's a path that's cutting corners that you think you might be able to get there. The Knicks might say, hey, look, we might actually have something here with Julius Randle and these other guys if we just like sell off some of this young talent, sell high on them, and get some people to come in to put around them. Maybe we'll get some other injuries in the league and we can make a run at a chip. But that's like, I don't want that. I don't want that short-term success for me. I want to build something that sustains. And so I'm going to take a really close look this weekend at me. Who am I? Do I really know who I am, and do I know where I'm going? And can I be real with the timeline to get there in a way that's going to be sustainable? So, like I said, I don't want to just escape into sports. I want to go there, but learn something that will help me navigate through this life and put out a product in my life that I'm proud of, to put out a product in my life that is the best version of me. And so thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for continuing to go after the best version of you. I want that for you too. So let me know what you think about Mitch. Let me know about what you think about trades for the Knicks and what you think they're going to do. Let me know all that in the comments below. Again, I hope you have an amazing weekend. I hope the Knicks win on Sunday. But if they don't, this is where we're at right now, and that's okay, because I think that the team that's coming for the Knicks and the team that's mostly coming off the bench right now has higher highs than what we're experiencing right now. And so, as always, this is Riding with the Knicks. Whether they trade Mitch or not, I'm going to keep rocking with the Knicks. I'm going to keep riding with the Knicks. And so I want to just let you know, let's go Knicks.